guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is Money Mondays, where we talk everything money. So today's topic I wanted to get into with you guys is actually about your credit score. Me, myself as a millennial, along with several millions of other people, really probably didn't even worry about a credit score back in the day, but now that they've actually realized that they need credit to get things and pay for things and, you know, just live the way they want to, they have become more interested in it. And unfortunately, by the time they do this, they've made some decisions that probably decrease their credit score to an unfavorable number. So the first thing that I kind of want to talk to you guys about today is what is a good credit score. There's so many different scores out there that it can be hard to tell what is what and which one is actually good. So as a reference, they have what's called excellent credit score. That's like top of the line. You've been on your stuff since day one and you're just doing awesome. And that is a credit score of 750 or higher. Now then they have what's called good credit score. So a good credit score is still really good. You're doing great. You could improve a little bit, but you definitely don't have to be sweating anything right now. And that is a 700 or above. That is what is considered a good credit score. So then you have what's called a fair credit score. A fair credit score is anything between 650 and 699. For those individuals, you're doing pretty well. You definitely have some room for improvement, but there are a lot of companies, whether you're trying to get an apartment or buy a car or get a house, that will take that into consideration and still mark you down as decent when it comes to your credit. And then you have what's called a poor credit score. And a poor credit score is anything from 600 to 649. So most people really want to take charge of their credit score before it goes any further, and you get into what's called a bad credit score, which is anything less than 600. Unfortunately for us millennials who haven't really taken the time out to keep track of our credit score, it may be well in the 500s, 400s, or even the 300s. So for those people, we have quite a bit of work to do, but it is not impossible to increase your credit score. In fact, with a lot of these tips that I'm going to give you today, I was able to increase my credit score substantially by more than 200 points. And you can do this too. And if you follow a lot of these methods, you can actually do this rather quickly in the next 30 days. So keep watching if you want to learn some tips on how to improve your credit score. So the first thing that you want to do is really find out what your credit score is. So you can do that a number of ways, and you want to pick one type of platform and really stick with it. For beginners though, it may be easier to pick something like credit.com or the app that I absolutely love and have been using for years, Credit Karma. And those are two websites, two platforms that enable you to see your overall credit score. And what I really like about Credit Karma is that it actually breaks down your TransUnion and Equifax scores. So it will tell you a number, it will give you a number for both of those. The next thing that you want to do is get your free annual credit report. I do this every year, and it's a great way to just kind of keep track of everything. Make sure that there's nothing crazy going on with your credit report, and that you are in fact on the right track. For me personally, the first time that I used annualcreditreport.com, I ran my report, everything was free, and I noticed that someone had actually opened up a credit card in my name. So that was the first time I had ever been notified, was when I did it for myself and looked at my report and saw that I actually had someone open up a credit card in my name. And then I had to go through the process of fraud alert and things like that to get it corrected, get that off of my name. And of course they didn't pay their credit card bill, because who's going to pay a credit card bill if it's not in their name? So I had all of that hitting my credit. So once I did that, I was able to correct it. The good thing about going to these credit bureaus and actually disputing those type of things is that they are required by law to actually look into and investigate those type of accusations. So if you see that something is really wrong on your account, there's a different name under your credit report, there's a different address that you've never lived at, there are credit cards and charges that you have never ever purchased in your life, they are required to actually look into those. And if they find that you are in fact telling the truth, then they will go ahead and delete those from your record. So you really want to stay on top of those things because no one else is going to do it for you. If I hadn't looked into my credit report and saw that somebody had taken out a credit card in my name, it would still be on there till this day, honestly. So the first thing that you want to know is that your payment history makes up 35% of your credit score, which is a huge amount considering that the other subcategories make up way less than that. Well, what is payment history? That's an easy question to answer. What have you purchased or taken out credit for or borrowed and not paid back? So let's say that you purchased a car and you decided you were going to finance that car. So your $500 payments each month that you're paying to your bank or to the auto facility where you purchased your car, that $500 monthly payment is your payment history. So if you have been on time paying $500 every month by the due date like you're supposed to, then you've got a pretty good payment history. They're gonna see that and be like, okay, Deidre sat down and looked at her bills and she paid $500 for her car each month. That's off the bat a great thing. But if you got that same car with that same $500 payment and did not make those payments at all or made them extremely late, then your credit score will go down. And that's 35%, guys. And just think about it. Most people have more than just a car and a car note that they're paying each month. So all of those things that you have that is going towards your credit score, you want to make sure that you have been doing what you need to do to pay them off so that your credit score, that 35%, is at its highest peak. If you have not done that, then this is something that you're really going to have to focus on if you want to increase your credit score. So the next subcategory of your credit score is going to be your credit usage. Your credit usage actually takes up 30% of your credit score. So not as high as your payment history, but definitely high and definitely makes a difference in your credit score. So what is credit usage or debt usage? Debt usage is mainly for those people who have credit cards. If you had to apply for a credit card, then you have credit debt usage. It doesn't matter if your credit card has a limit of $200 or if your credit card has a limit of $1,000. You have credit usage. Now, if you are the type of person who applied for that credit card and got approved for that credit card and paid your monthly payments on that credit card, then you have a good chance of having a good credit score. If you are the person who got approved for that credit card but has not been making payments on your credit card, then you have probably decreased your credit score. So when you look at your credit report and you look at Credit Karma or credit.com and you see your credit score as it relates to your debt usage, you want to see a good number. You want to see that you are less than 30% on all of your credit usage. So if you have a credit card that has $100 that you have spent somewhere, you want to make sure that you have paid it down to at least 30%. That is going to tell the credit bureaus that you are on top of your game and are actually willing to take care of your credit card payments. So if you're a person who has great payment history on your car loan and great payment history on your mortgage and great payment history on your other bills like hospital bills and debt collectors and things like that, if you're a person who has great payment history but horrible credit history, credit usage history, then this is the part that you're going to really have to focus on, is paying back your credit cards. Okay, so the next subcategory of your credit score is actually your credit age. And this is something that is worth 15% as it relates to your overall credit score. This is actually one of the hardest parts to change about your credit score, simply because this is something that comes with time. What they're looking for is how long have you had any type of credit. And this is not something that you can change in 30 days. Yes, today you can go and you can establish some credit, but if you do that, you're only going to have 1 day of credit history. They want to see that you have had a lifetime, a very long time of credit history. So if you have none, if you've never applied for a credit card, never applied for any type of credit or debt, you might want to do that. And that's simply because you want to establish some type of history, credit history, for your credit score. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and I'm not telling you to get a credit card with $1,000 limit. Me personally, my first credit card that I got had a $200 limit. I got it through my bank and I used it only for gas and groceries because those are the easiest things that you know you're going to need and the easiest things to pay back very quickly. So basically you go out, you get a credit card for a $200 limit, you go and you pay $50 for gas for the week or two, and then you take that time the next week or two to pay back that $50 on your credit card. It seems like nothing. It seems like, look, $50, that's it. That's all that's going to get me credit. Yeah, if you stay on top of it, it is, because somebody's going to look at it and they're going to be like, wow, this person borrowed $50 towards gas, but they also paid $50 back. They are very responsible. It's that simple. The next subcategory of your credit report is your account mix. And this kind of goes hand in hand with your credit age. So from the time that you start borrowing credit or start using credit, you want to make sure that you have a good mix. And you can have a good mix without having a million different credit lines. If you have a student loan, you already have one type of credit mix. If you have an auto loan, that car that you bought earlier that you're paying $500 a month on, that's another mix of credit. If you have a mortgage, a house mortgage, that is another mix of credit. You've already got 3 mixes of credit right there, and you're going to have a great account mix. Okay, so the last and final subcategory for your credit report and your credit score is actually your credit inquiries. So this comes into play, it's 10% of your overall score, and it comes into play when you start applying for lines of credit. So let's say you go out and you want to go live on your own. So you go and you apply to all of these apartment complexes, or you want to go get a car, and so you go and you apply for a car. Great, awesome, you've got the money. What's going to happen is that the apartment complexes that you have applied to, they're going to pull your credit report. They're going to pull your credit report because they want to see what your credit score is. So when they actually go in and pull your credit report, that is an inquiry, and that is a hard inquiry. So inquiry, however you want to say it, that is a hard inquiry. Same with your auto. If you go and you apply for a car, that financing company is going to pull your report. They want to know what your credit score is to see if you're going to be responsible enough to pay for this car. When they pull that report, that is another hard inquiry. So there you have 2 inquiries already. You have an auto inquiry and you have a rental inquiry from those places. And if you do multiple, like let's say you've gone to 3 different apartment complexes and applied at all 3 just to see which one you could get accepted for, now you have 3 hard inquiries on your account, on your credit score from all 3 of those rental properties. The good thing is they won't stay. They don't have to stay if you work. If you put in some work, they don't have to stay on your report, but it will take some work. But for the basic purposes of right now, just know that anytime you apply for a line of credit and they have to pull your credit score, it will count as a hard inquiry and it will show up and start affecting your credit score.